All right, Breach, you're up. Second half of the draft.
Hey, you know what? Let's reverse the order. So now, like not snake draft, but now you get the first pick here to start off the second half.
Okay, with the first pick, I will take the Comeback Player of the Year award winner this coming season, Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay. Duval. I love this guy, Liam Cohen. Okay, he's just goofy and awkward enough for me to fall in love with him as a coach. And you know what, Trevor Lawrence, I'm not done with you yet. Okay, there's another act to be seen. And I've seen a lot of talk about this guy, Travis Hunter. I've seen off the field talk. I've seen on the field talk. I'm more concerned with the on the field talk. And the guy jumps off the tape when he's on the field. So finding a way to get this guy involved in your offense is going to be key. Obviously, they've got a phenom at the receiver position who just finished up his rookie season. With those two guys on the field, who are you going to guard? Who's going to get doubled? Who's going to have that cloud safety or corner behind him? And how can Trevor Lawrence make it happen? If Trevor Lawrence is healthy, I got this offense maybe playing higher than this ranking, but that's my pick, Breach.
Wait, let me ask you a quick question, Kyle, about Travis Hunter. If he's playing, let's say, 40 snaps a game on defense, do you think that's going to impact his ability to run routes at full speed in a receiver? I just feel like when you're going both ways against college players, you're going against college players. Sure, you're facing a couple guys who will eventually be in the NFL. When you're in the NFL, now you're facing an NFL player in every spot on both sides of the ball, which is just a huge jump. So is it realistic?
This league is driven by what you do on offense. If Travis Hunter is playing 40 snaps on defense and suffering on offense, the coach needs to be fired.
Or cut the defensive snaps down and just say.
I'll just say it that way. Cut the snaps down. I need this guy to be electric every time he's on the field offensively. And if he's not, we can't rob Peter to pay Paul, John.
I got it. That's offense sells tickets, man. That is the route. Let's see. We are at pick 18. All right. Look, this team went 14-3 last year. They haven't cracked our rankings yet. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, the big question mark is J.J. McCarthy any good? Nobody knows because we haven't seen him take a single regular season snap in the NFL. Got a couple small tastes of him in the preseason last season because he played one game. But look, you have Justin Jefferson around you. You have Aaron Jones around you. You're getting Christian Darrisaw back at left tackle. You stole two offensive linemen from the Colts who should make your offensive line better. So I think the Vikings are loaded. It's just a matter of how far can J.J. McCarthy take them. And I have no idea. This is a quarterback who's kind of hard to project what he's going to do. But I feel like he can at least play at the Sam Darnold level, probably. But I'm going to take the Vikings.
And which Sam Darnold level are you talking about? Are you talking about the ceiling or the floor? So, I mean, you might get a little bit of everything.
That's true.
With the next one, I'm going to go with another ceiling pick. And I saw a picture of Marvin Harrison Jr. at the podium a couple weeks ago. And if you were to cut his head off and put Myles Garrett's head on his body, you would say, yeah, that makes sense. Marvin Harrison Jr. has turned into like a freak show in the last 6 months from a physical standpoint. And this happens with players from first to second year, second to third year. Something happens to them physically. They get that grown man strength. Kyler Murray is as fun as anybody to watch play quarterback, okay? Not just because he's an outlier physically, because he's got such arm talent, because he's got the mobility. They need to find a way to get Marvin Harrison Jr. more involved in this offense. But I think that he is a guy that they are going to lean into heavier this year. Obviously, they got a great tight end. Their offensive line's tough. Their defense is going to be keep them in ball games. It all comes down to this offense. That's where I got them.
And I got a fun fact for the Cardinals pick. They play 13 games indoors this year. That is the most in the NFL. And if Kyler Murray starts all those games, it would be the second most indoor starts by quarterback in NFL history. Look, if you can play a little faster when you're indoors. And like you said, Murray's electrifying. So, and this seems like it could be a good breakout season for Marvin Harrison Jr. because of that. All right, number 20. I'm going to go, look, I know Harry's back there.
Yeah.
Producer Harry just shedding tears, wondering when we're going to take his team and that we're doing this on purpose, that we talked on the phone an hour ago and we said, don't take the Dolphins. They don't deserve to be picked. I'll take the Dolphins. Somebody's got to do it. They still have Jalen Waddle. They still have Tyreek Hill. Who knows if Tyreek Hill will even be on the roster week one. He's on the roster now. We all have our question marks about Tua. This seems like a make or break season. Either this is it. You got to do something here, win at least one playoff game, prove that you belong. So I think this whole entire organization has a lot on the line this year, whether it's Mike McDaniel, whether it's Tua, whether it's Tyreek Hill. A lot of questions to be answered, but I will take the Dolphins at 20th.
So if something, knock on wood, if something were to happen to Tua, would it be yours or would it be Zach Wilson?
That's a good question. I think if it's early in the season, say September, probably Zach Wilson. But I think if it's later in the season, probably you put Ewers in there.
So here's my thing about this offense fitting Quinn Ewers like a glove. Not top end arm strength, by no means top end arm strength, but the ability to see and distribute the football, see defense, distribute the football, be on time. I think that's something Quinn Ewers could do for Mike McDaniel. And Zach Wilson, obviously, it's like, whoa, do you want to go downtown Julie Brown? I could do that. So they got two different flavors laying in wait. For the next pick, I'm going to go with an offense that I think has the best offensive line in football. And they've got a young quarterback who also went to the University of Oregon. He's a man of Oregon. The Denver Broncos. I love the way that they play the game of football. And they beat the hell out of people up front. Their quarterback has just discovered that he's more mobile than he could ever imagine. At the end of the season, we saw a lot of Bo Nix moving around on the edges, and they're only going to get better in year 2 of the Sean Payton administration. This is a team that can vie for the AFC West, and I think that week in, week out, they're a stock you can buy in on because they've got an offensive line. They can run the football. They invested in the draft in the running back room. Yeah, man, I think they could probably be better than this.
Yeah, and I think you were totally right. They just bully people. That's how Sean Payton wants to run his offense. And the Bo Nix thing, it really was like early in the season. He's thinking, I can't take off because I'm not sure I can outrun these NFL guys.
He can't.
At some point, he realized he could. And he's like, all right, well, I'm going to start taking off more often. And I love that they added Evan Ingram because there were just no tight ends in their offense catching passes last year. So I think that will make their offense a lot better. 22 overall.
We're getting into Aaron Rodgers territory now.
We started the show talking about Aaron Rodgers, and we're going to take him off the board here. Look, we talked about it at the top. It's just you don't know what Aaron Rodgers has left in the tank, but if he's just half of what Aaron Rodgers can be, that's still pretty good. He's throwing DK Metcalf. Doesn't have a lot of other targets to go to. You'd probably like to see them get another number 2 guy. I know they have Robert Woods. Maybe don't trade George Pickens. And then you got rid of Najee Harris. So now Jaylen Warren's taking over that number 1 back spot, which is good because Jaylen Warren's talented. But Najee Harris was getting over 250 carries last year. Warren's never had more than 150 carries in a season in his career. So he's going to be able to take that kind of beating. So it feels like they'll go to a running back by committee. They drafted Caleb Johnson. They have Kenneth Gainwell. So this could be a good offense. This could be a surprise offense, but I think for now, this feels about right at 22, yeah.
All right. So I was going to say it's Aaron Rodgers territory. That makes sense. Now we've entered kind of like hunch territory. Like who's gonna be better than we think? Because there's this group at the bottom here. Or past the middle, I will say, that is kind of like, it's a war of attrition. I think a group that's going to punch up all year is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. And I talked about the offensive line being obviously something you want your offense to be predicated on. I love Jackson Powers-Johnson in the middle for the Raiders. I love Colton Miller at left tackle. You've got Chip Kelly coming in as the offensive coordinator. You've got new blood in there with an old man and Pete Carroll. Geno Smith is an immediate upgrade, and they've been looking for a jersey to buy that is a starting quarterback in Las Vegas for a while. Well, they got one with Geno Smith. Ashton Genty, love the draft pick. I think there's some guys who are meant to be Raiders. He is one. 2 tight end formations. Brock Bowers is the best tight end in football. You got a lot of good stuff going on there in Las Vegas. I think that they take the spot at 23, 24. Where are we?
Yeah, 23.
23. Lucky 23.
Yeah, and look, they have Raheem Mostert back there too, who led the NFL in touchdown runs just 2 years ago in 2023. And he's getting older, but now he can just be your home run threat because you have Genty there to be your every down guy. I think the Raiders could definitely be dangerous. I like it. 24. 4.
How good do you like Bryce Young?
Yeah, that's kind of where we are. I'm kind of weighing my Drake May, Bryce Young, Sam Darnold. That's, you know what though? I'm gonna go Drake May. I liked what I saw from him last season, and so I'm gonna go Patriots. But this is 100% based on what I think of Drake May. I'm not going to penalize the Patriots offense because Stephon Diggs was on a boat party that he probably shouldn't have been on, or at least not letting the video get out. And so you look at the team at receiver. If Diggs is healthy, yeah, they have a receiver. But if he's not healthy or not 100% when the season starts, I'm not sure who Drake May is throwing to. Matt Collins, that's not a number one guy. You look at their running back situation. Ramondre Stevenson is good, but there's just a lot of question marks here. The offensive line, obviously, they signed Garrett Bradbury. That is why the Patriots are so low. But I love Drake May, man. I think he can be really good.
I love Drake May too. I'm obsessed with Mike Vrabel.
I'll
say this about the Stephon Diggs thing, and I haven't really spoken about it or tweeted about it or anything. You don't go and do stuff like that unless you're really feeling yourself as a player, and you're not feeling yourself as a player unless you're healthy. I think Stephon Diggs is a big year. That's all.
I like that.
That's all I'm going to say about Stephon Diggs. So you said Patriots. I'm going to go Panthers. I love T-Mac. I think him and Bryce Young are going to be a lot of fun to watch. They've invested in this offensive line. My guy Brant Tillis is there. He was in Kansas City. Now he's like the president of football operations there. I like that they got some smart minds at the top. And yeah, Bryce Young, his redemption arc was fun to watch. Give me the Panthers.
Yeah, it's just wild how getting benched just totally sparked him. Or maybe it was just hanging out with Andy Dalton for a few months. And he's like, you know what? I want to win a Super. I want Andy Dalton's career. I'll go to 5 playoff games and be good. All right, let's do. I'm an Andy Dalton homer for those who don't know. For as a Bengals homer, you're naturally an Andrew Gregory Dalton homer. All right, 26. Okay, you know what? We mentioned the 3 quarterbacks: Drake May, Bryce Young, Sam Darnold. So I'll go ahead and take Sam Darnold off the board. Here's my biggest question mark with the Seattle Seahawks. Yes, Darnold was awesome last year, but he was literally in a perfect system for him to thrive. Yes, indoors. You have a great offensive play coach or head coach in Kevin O'Connell. You have Justin Jefferson. You have Jordan Addison. So you were just absolutely loaded. Now you're going to a spot where you hope Cooper Kupp still has something in the tank. You're hoping Marquez Valdes-Scantling is still looking good. And yes, you have Jackson Smith and Jigba, who had a great season last year. And I think he is going to be really good. But I think he is your one guy that you can absolutely trust. And then, look, I'll leave this to you. The offensive line in Seattle leaves a lot to be desired. And if Sam Darnold is under pressure, the numbers have shown he's not very good under pressure. So if that's something he's dealing with all year, he's going to take a huge step back. So I'm going to we got the Seahawks. What is this at 26th?
So the Seahawks, they've got a new offensive coordinator, and this offensive coordinator comes from a place called New Orleans, correct? And when he was in New Orleans, they like to run the football. And after they ran the football, they threw the football a mile down the field to a receiver. Do you remember this offense? Okay, ring any bells, run the football, pound him up front, get the luxury of throwing it behind enemy lines. They don't have a guy who can run behind enemy lines, the Seahawks. They don't have the offensive line in the run game that the New Orleans Saints had when Clint Kubiak became the hot, sexy commodity. There's a lot of question marks for me, which is why they're at this part of the list. But it's one of those groups where, if Kupp's got some juice, if Sam Darnold is a guy, this group could be fun because they're going to play good defense. And we've seen Kubiak can get it right on offense. But those are some of the things that are in my mind about this team. I am going to go with a guy that I enjoy rooting for. This is also a theme from the New York Jets.
Ooh.
His name is Justin Fields. And he's an athlete. He's a horse. He's an absolute horse. He may not be the best quarterback on the field week in, week out, but he might be the biggest competitor on the field week in, week out. And I think that with a guy like Aaron Glenn at the helm in New York, it's going to be a whole lot of competitive juices and physicality. And they get that with their quarterback week in, week out. Like I said, they're not going to break any records offensively, but they're going to be fun to watch. And Justin Fields is the unquestioned leader there.
Yeah, he went 4-2 as a starter in Pittsburgh last year. See if that can carry over. And he doesn't have to worry about getting benched for Russell Wilson in New York. Speaking of Russell Wilson, I'll go ahead and stick in the Big Apple and take the Giants at 29 or 28th overall. Look, I have no idea if Russell Wilson has anything left in the tank at all. We've seen him the past few years. He was better in Pittsburgh than he was in Denver, which you definitely feel good about. And now that he has an offensive-minded head coach and Brian Daboll, maybe he'll be able to unlock something that these other coaches haven't, even Sean Payton. But with the Giants, you look at the rest of their offense. Malik Neighbors is an absolute stud, which is why I do a little bit like the Giants offense. Clearly don't love them because they're down this low. Tyrone Tracy Jr. had a huge season, came along.
Juice.
Yeah. Neighbors and Tracy, I mean, right there. So all you need is a competent quarterback, which I think Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston or maybe even Jackson Dart, throw one of those guys back there.
All the flavors of quarterback there.
Yeah, they have everything you could ever want. Use all three of them every game. That's what they should do. So Giants at 28th.
Okay. One guy I hope is better than he was last year, who definitely got some help at the tight end position, which is supposed to go, hand in glove with quarterbacks. That's Anthony Richardson. If Anthony Richardson and the Indianapolis Colts can get a little bit better, boy, oh boy, they're going to be fun to watch, because I don't know if there's anybody more physically gifted at the quarterback position than Anthony Richardson. He can throw the ball off his back foot 75 yards. He can outflank defensive ends, blitzing linebackers. He can run them clean over like Josh Allen. But can he hit an open target with his feet set? Can he get rid of the ball on time? These are the things Colts fans want to see. These are the things I want to see, which is why they're so low down this list.
Yeah, and heck, Daniel Jones might end up being the quarterback if Anthony Richardson.
And wouldn't that be fun?
Battling injuries and dealing with another shoulder issue, and you just never know. It'll be crazy. Where are we? We only have 3 picks left here, Kyle. We only have 3 picks left. I'm just going to go ceiling. I'm going to take the rookie quarterback. I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward, number 1 overall. Well, this far down, I'm going to put my eggs in the Cam Ward basket. Look, they have Calvin Ridley. They have an okay offensive line. They went out. You have Tony Pollard in his second year there. I'm not making an argument this is a great offense. I'm saying they're 30th. So I would love to see Cam Ward thrive. And I think the NFL is better whenever your top pick quarterbacks play well. So Brian Callahan obviously had some time in Cincinnati. He was there when the Bengals took Joe Burrow number 1 overall. So we know what it's like, to what you have to do to kind of get that top pick to move along and create an offense around them. So I'll take the Titans at 30th.
I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns at 31. I really like their coach. I really love their fans. And that's really about all I got to say about that. And I would like to see Shedeur Sanders at some point get some snaps in the regular season, because I want to see, I want to see what he's got. I want to see what the young man's got.
Yeah, let's just close it out here. New Orleans Saints. Look, if you're having a QB competition between a second-round rookie, Spencer Rattler, and Jay Kaner, the rookie Tyler Shuck, that's it. That's why you are last place here. It doesn't matter what else you have in your team. You have a huge quarterback problem. And I don't feel like the Saints are going to win many games this year.
There were some days in Chicago where we'd have some struggles offensively, and Matt Nagy would come in and take some snaps and throw the football around. I wonder if Kellen Moore's going to have any need to do that.
And the players are going to be like, can you still play? Can he coach?
Dude, Nagy would throw it. I'd be like, damn, that's impressive.